Hey guys, I'm Yolanda Mabanga and you are tuned into another episode of UBUNTU.biz. Today I'm on Florida Road, which happens to be one of the busiest tourist attractions here in Durban. And I'm here to interview Kudakwashe Makore, who is the owner of Margaret Mornings. He's going to be talking to me as to why he calls himself a partner rather than an owner. And I'm here to find out more, so do join me. Kuda, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. It is a pleasure to join you.
I understand that you have this coffee shop called Margaret Mornings.
Yes.
I mean, let's first talk about the name. Where does the name come from?
So, Margaret is my mom's name.
Oh, okay.
But coincidentally, it also happens to be my mother-in-law's name.
So
it was one of those killing two birds with one stone. So when I thought of starting something, I mean, the mornings that I had with my mom were probably the best mornings I ever had. And you know, going through the process of going to school, being woken up, the drive to school and stuff. So I cherish those Margaret mornings. And now that I'm old, I don't get to have mornings with Margaret anymore.
Oh wow!
And so it's our way of saying, wake up the Margaret way.
Yeah.
And so that's where the name came from. Yeah.
Fascinating. Interesting.
Indeed. I also figured it was a way to, honor your mom for things. I would have loved to start something way bigger than Margaret Mornings or a coffee shop this small. But obviously everything comes with time. So this is where we start.
I mean, speaking of coffee shops, you could have started any other business if you wanted to, but
Right.
you specifically chose to do coffee. Why?
I love the faith that you have in me that I could have started any other business if I wanted to. It's very flattering. I'm a hospitality person.
Okay.
I studied hospitality from the time I left school. I was very intentional about what I wanted to do. Well, not really. I thought I was going to be an accountant. That didn't work out real well. So I started the journey of hospitality. It's something that I'm passionate about, something that I like. So anything that has anything to do with hospitality, you'll find me there. So if it wasn't a coffee shop, it would be a restaurant. If it wasn't a restaurant, it would be a lounge. If it wasn't a lounge, it would be a takeaway shop. So anything that you can find hospitality in, you would find me there. And I think also hospitality just goes beyond food and beverage. It can be, I say hospitality is found in everything. You go to airlines, it's hospitality. You work in retail, it's hospitality because you still have to talk to people nicely and show them where the changing rooms are and have some sort of decorum. So I'm a hospitality guy, so I would have found myself in any other business. It's just what happened was that this is the opportunity that presented itself at the time.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Yeah. So after this coffee shop, you are going to venture into other things within hospitality, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Hospitality is not it's a calling. Service is a calling. I will serve anywhere I find myself. So I'll serve at church if I've got the opportunity. I'll serve at a family gathering if the need be. So anything that entails hospitality, you'll find me there. The vision, obviously, after Margaret Mornings is bigger. There's stuff that we're already working on in the pipeline. I don't believe that we are one-track sort of people. I think in an environment in which we live, where your bills come in 7 different directions, the revenue can't come from one. And so, yes, there is plans to venture into something. Will it be hospitality? Most definitely. Most definitely, yeah.
For your coffee shop, I mean, are there any specific coffee brands that you're promoting, or is it just any coffee?
So at the moment we are using Tribeca. We had a very interesting chat with a fellow a black cat. His name is Mavella. They've got Tozy Beans. So I'm always out to support local black-owned businesses.
Oh, that's great.
Something that's very important. So I saw that they launched, I think 2 weeks ago. I reached out to him. He came through. We had a conversation. I had a conversation with him yesterday. It's very nice for us to collaborate as black people in business. And I'm not trying to make this a racial issue, but in terms of entrepreneurship in business, we do find ourselves as being the minority. So once we come together to build something, and there's not a lot of black guys that venture into coffee. And so when I see a black guy who has got his own bean, I'm like, go for it, brother.
Come through.
I'm going to buy from you. I mean, we buy, a friend of mine came through, a guy that I know came through and he was selling serviettes. And he was trying to pitch to me. I said, because you're black, I will buy from you. But don't use that as an excuse to give me shoddy service.
Exactly.
And I think that's where the conversation needs to now be carried forward within the black community, that I don't want to buy because of color, I want to buy because of merit and price and quality. So once you have all those 3 factors coming together, yes, of course, let's support black business because we are minority, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Kuda,
yes,
on this very street alone, there are 3 or more coffee shops. So why must I, as an individual, neglect the other 3 coffee shops and come into your one specifically? Bearing in mind that it is within another establishment. So it's basically cocooned in the corner there.
Correct. So for me, perspective is everything. The way you look at things determine how you react to them. So in one end, you can say that we are hidden. In another end, you can say that we've got guaranteed foot traffic because people come into the Apple store every single day. So unlike Seattle that's down the road or Skyline that have to literally come out there and ask for people to come through, we could literally just approach people that are coming to get their phones fixed or coming to get a cable. So I think in life, really, the way you view a situation determines how you progress towards it. If I view this as a disadvantage, I lose. If I say that I've got guaranteed food traffic every single day, I kind of win. Why must you come to our coffee shop? I think we are more focused on an experience more than just coffee. If you would ask me to say anything about Margaret Mornings, I'll tell you that you can get coffee from anywhere else, but the experience is different. We are more, if you go on our Instagram bio, you'll see that it says, the first thing we say, it says, we are a massive coffee shop tucked away inside the ICS, which gets people who come here saying, which part of you is massive? So I say, don't ever let the size of the coffee shop determine the impact that we have on people. And just below that, we say that we love people, we love coffee, and we love pastries. So at the heart of our business is people. You can't do this business if you don't love people, and that's what we're about. So we will go the extra mile to, I mean, you saw the buzz that was in there. We talk to people. We don't mind throwing in a freebie just to have a conversation with you. And you will leave with more than just coffee. I believe that we've got the best cakes on Florida Road and in Durban, and we bake these cakes ourselves.
Oh, is it?
From our sister company, which is called the Michelin Baker.
Okay.
So you can get coffee anywhere else, but you can't get coffee and this great slice of cake from anywhere else, which also took us time because we had to find our unique selling point. And so you get into a space where everybody's selling coffee, but what can you do to the coffee? So you can have coffee, but you can't have a slice of carrot cake. You can't have this decadent chocolate cake anywhere else, and that's what we're about. Yeah.
And of course, building customer relationship is the reason why they keep coming back.
Correct. I think that people come for, we say in hospitality, people come for the price, but they stay for the service. And so I might go to a place not necessarily because the coffee is great, but because when I get there, I leave with more than just coffee. So creating relationships with your customers, understanding that without the customers, there is no business. You can have the best sandwiches, you can have the best burgers, you can have the best fries, but if you don't have the customer relation, people want to go to a place where they're seen. People want to go to a place where they're valued. People want to go to a place where, and because of our size, we're able to be flexible. So if you come to me and say, I felt like the cake was lacking this, I can go back. Because we're that small, we're flexible enough to change stuff. And that's what most of these big franchises miss, because they've got head office and they've got operations. So whatever is set as the standard remains the standard. We could wake up DC and myself and be like, today let's do this, today let's do that. And so the flexibility and that ability to interact and relate to your customers one-on-one. There is no operations manager, it's me and DC. You know what I mean? So whatever you say, if you think it's a good idea, let's do it, man. If you say to me, Kuda, let's put I don't know, let's put a syrup in a drink. We can name drinks after people. We don't mind doing that. And I think that level of flexibility is what people are looking for. Yeah.
And I mean, with most businesses, they thrive on business visibility and being out there. And clearly to you, that's not really the most important thing for your business.
Not really. Visibility is very important. I think you always have to be top of mind. When it comes to business, you don't exist in a vacuum. Like you said very rightly, that on the street alone there is so many coffee shops. How do we become visible? We stand outside the door. We talk to everybody and anybody.
Really?
100%.
You ask them how their day is
in the morning, and this is the weird thing that we found when we came on Florida Road. I think people are not used to random people saying good morning to them. So we used to get very weird stares. So we'd stand outside the door, DC and I, and we'd be like, good morning, how are you doing? Good morning, how are you doing? And there's people that we know that went to our competitors. Every single day, we don't stop offering them, Mama, you know what, today you should come through. They're like, nah, you know where I'm going, tomorrow you should come through. But we constantly have to be in people's faces physically, and I feel like that's better than a billboard, because a billboard doesn't talk to you. A billboard doesn't ask how your day is going. The other day, a lady passed through. She had given birth. I remember she used to come with a baby. I think the baby was all of 5 days old. Very weird. I don't know why the baby was out. But she passed through the other day and I was like, I'm so happy to see the babies in a stroller now. She was like, you remembered. And so people want that activity. And I feel like you can distribute as many flyers as you want. I feel like you can put as many billboards as you want, but the human interaction is important. Because we are inside another store, we physically have to be the people that are communicating and talking to our customers on a daily basis.
That is so interesting. That is so, making people feel special even just passing by.
Correct. And you'll see that that's the reason why we have this board. I'm sure we're going to get a shot of it a little later. So every morning we put out a message on the board. We put a message to intrigue you. We put a message to motivate you. We put a message to have you questioning what you think is norm. Today's message said that if you don't heal what hurt you, you'll always bleed on the people that didn't cut you. And it's so deep. So we use very different methods to reach people and speak to people and to inspire and to motivate people. We don't sometimes get the luxury of speaking to everybody, but some people see the board, and the day you don't put a post, they're like, oh, today you didn't put out a post. You're like, you look at those posts. And so you never realize how much impact you're making in people's lives. And I think that's the best impact, where you don't get to know, because then your ego is kept in check. You get me?
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Let us talk about COVID.
Right.
I would like to believe that the whole lockdown, restaurants closing, restaurants opening, cafes closing, for sure it had affected your business. How did you combat that? How did you overcome that?
Well, Margaret Mornings in itself is a product of COVID, because we only came into the space during COVID. Well, during COVID is in October last year. And of course the impact has been massive on the hospitality industry as a whole, because... So
you were a person who saw opportunity in the midst of despair. You were like, this is the perfect time to open a coffee shop.
Correct. I wrote a quote once that said, cast your net when the sea rages, because sometimes the best catch lies in the midst of a storm.
Oh, wow.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that, because it's only when there is chaos that's happening, people that are great don't wait for perfect conditions to happen before they make a move, because perfect conditions might never happen. And so you make the most of what you have at the time. If you're going to wait to have the right amount of money, to have the right amount of the right partner, to have everything gathered around before you start, you might find yourself not starting. It's a thing called analysis paralysis, where you overanalyze the situation. You're like, but I don't have this, I don't have an investor, and I don't know where the customer is going to come from. And so, therefore, as long as you've got vision, at whatever point that you make peace with the fact that I'm going to start, my suggestion and my word is always start. Who knows when COVID is going to go? Who knows that COVID was going to come in the first place? Who knows what pandemic is coming after COVID?
You know.
So whatever happens, keep moving. If another lockdown is going to come, it's going to catch us whilst we're moving. We're not going to wait until the conditions are right for us to start working. And so just going back to the question of how did COVID affect us, you might want to look at yourselves and say, but we're a coffee shop, a bulk of our business is takeaway in any case. But if people are not coming out to dine, people are not coming out to dine. If people are not working, they don't have disposable income. Therefore, coffee in the morning becomes a luxury.
Yeah.
So, of course, the effect has been felt all around. But like I'm saying, we never stop moving. We don't stop pushing. We always move.
But you sound like a very optimistic person, as if you don't encounter challenges in your business.
I think that I do have challenges that I encounter, but there's no point in crying because nobody ever listens. Optimism is one gift optimism is a gift that you need to have, because the world is not a happy place. The world is cruel. There's always opportunities to stop. There's always opportunities to give up. If I dwell on that, I will never progress. And so I see trouble as an opportunity to see where the next big catch is. Right.
What lessons have you learned? At least one big major lesson from opening your coffee shop until now, that you will not let it slip next time if you encounter such an issue?
I think that it wasn't more of an operational lesson. I think it's more of a personal and a business and an entrepreneurial lesson, that even when the days don't seem great, even because we're not motivated to come out every day. I don't have a smile on my face every day.
Yeah.
But if you always remember why you started, you always keep going. So on the days where it's not exciting, when the days where there's only 5 customers, we keep going the next day and we show up. There's a quote that says, the guys that built Rome wasn't built in a day, but the guys that built it, they showed up every day.
Yeah.
And so what's important for us is to show up and show up and show up. Because there's days where I wake up and I think I made a mistake by opening a coffee shop right next to a big coffee shop. There's days I wake up and think people don't want coffee, they want alcohol. But
so there are times where you feel that way.
Oh, 100%. I'm a human being. There's times where I feel discouraged.
Yeah.
There's times where I feel like maybe we made a mistake. But I remember why I started, and I remember who I started with. As I mentioned earlier to you, you said, is this your baby? I said, no, I'm a partner. Because
who is the other partner?
It's the big G. It's God himself. So I partnered with the Holy Spirit and God himself, and therefore they dictate some of my moves. So when the days that I don't want to come to work, they remind me that it's not about me, because we're doing more than just serving coffee here. We're making relations, we're meeting people, we're speaking to people, and that's what's more important than just serving a cup of coffee.
Have you always envisioned yourself as an entrepreneur?
Correct. I think because I come from a background where we are not intellectuals in a sense, where book intellectuals, but I grew up in a family where my dad, I don't know how many businesses my dad ever opened, and for me, I always look for an opportunity to solve a problem. And I think that I am too wild to be contained by a job, and I always want to start something, and I always want to build something. My real passion is building. It could be building businesses, it could be building people.
Okay.
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time. So on the side, outside the coffee shop, we also have a company called Creed Hospitality, which is a hospitality consulting company, which allows us to help other people that also want to open restaurants and also want to open coffee shops.
Yeah.
So we come up with concept, we come up with deco, we come up with menus, we come up with training schedules, we do shifts, we train, we do all that. So part of doing that is building as well.
Is this online, in person?
No, it's not online yet. We're still working on a website, but so far the projects that we've done have all been word of mouth referrals. If you build a big enough restaurant or good enough restaurant for someone, the next time someone asks them, they'll always make reference to you.
So you've never been an employee in your life?
I have. Oh no, I've been an employee. I've been an employee. I worked here in Durban. I've worked in 2 restaurants, Beluga being one of them, and Antique Cafe. I was a manager there for 2 years and 3 years. And so I've been employed a lot, but even in employment, I've always had an entrepreneurial mind.
Yeah.
So I've had a barber shop, I had a meat manufacturing company, I've had a beard oil range, I've had a lot. I have a lot, and none of those businesses are there to show anything today. But
why is that?
Because some of the businesses I wasn't ready for them. Some of them I was too excitable. Some of them I was intrigued by the idea of entrepreneurship. That what I've realized that a lot of people don't want to be entrepreneurs. Visitor Makore put it very, very clearly. A lot of people don't want to be entrepreneurs. They want to make extra money. So when entrepreneurship became a hip thing, where I'm an entrepreneur, we were like, oh yeah, let's do it, And some of them failed because the timing was wrong. Some of them failed because the funding wasn't right. Some of them failed because I was employed. But all of those experiences have molded me to be the person that I am. I feel like I've never failed in a single business venture. Not a single one have I failed in. And people look at it and be like, oh, but if you did, then where's your barbershop? It closed down. It didn't fail. That's a big difference, because the lessons that I took from there, I still apply even to Margaret Mornings today. I still apply even to Creed Hospitality today. So my thought is that it's only failure if you don't extract a lesson out of it.
I'm telling you, you should be the next motivational speaker next to Vusi Tembekwayo. What are you talking about?
I think Vusi Tembekwayo has got nothing on me. Joke. Inspiration comes in very different ways. I'm inspired by people that I listen to, and sometimes I think I've moved away from using a person and idolizing people, because I get inspiration from the most random of people. I could sit there, talk to a guy who's asking us for a cup of tea, and he'll drop a word and I'll be like, that was so profound. And sometimes the people that you idolize sometimes say stuff that you're like, I don't think that's true. I think that's just your opinion. So you also get paralyzed by putting people in pedestals, and then you have to take their experiences as the word. I don't believe that my personal experiences are the word and the standard by which anyone should run business. If a guy that started with R1 million says the only way to start business is having R1 million, he's lying to the guy who started with only 50 Rand. So I think in every single person that you listen to or get motivation or inspiration from, I think extract the things that you need, the things that work for you, and let the rest slide.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are the last words that you have for an entrepreneur who's watching this right now and wants to start a business?
First of all, I want to tell them that they're watching the right program. This is such an amazing show, and I think it's a great platform for young entrepreneurs like ourselves to get to express ourselves, but also learn from what other people are doing. My words to a person that wants to be an entrepreneur or already is an entrepreneur is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, start.
Just start.
Start. Don't overanalyze. Don't be stuck in that analysis paralysis where the customer is going to come from. And all those factors are very, very important, but don't overanalyze yourself into not starting. And that's the problem with entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs. We spend too much time focusing on the right logo and the right color scheme, and do I have the right name? And yet, if the product is good, people don't care about the name. I think invest a lot of your time in, how am I going to distribute the product? What is my unique selling point? What is it that I'm trying to sell? Forget about the logo. People don't care. We don't know what Nike means, right? We don't know who, there's a lot of things. I don't want to name names, but I think we spend a lot of time focusing on things that are not that important and forget the actual business concept. Who am I selling to? What am I selling? How am I going to get it off the shelves? How am I going to get it to the people? So if you're a young entrepreneur, if you're thinking of starting, start today. Money is not your biggest problem. If you've got a great idea, you will find the money. There's a lot of people with a lot of money that don't know where to put it. They're waiting for people with great ideas. People that don't have great ideas are always saying, oh, but where's the money coming from? I don't have the money. Do the work. Start. People are more likely to help a guy who's pushing his own car on the road than the guy standing on the road waiting for people to help them.
I'm telling you. This must be your coffee mornings when you're sitting out on the balcony, you're just thinking about your life, you're drinking this coffee, and it gives you all these profound ideas that you just share with me now.
It's all in the coffee. If you come
if you want some wisdom,
have
some Margaret Mornings coffee.
Correct. And for us, that's what you're just saying is the reason why I love being here. It's talking to people, it's inspiring people. You could come here, order a coffee, and I could rock up and be like, hey, so what do you do? And then we start having conversation and I learn about you. And it's that people interaction, and it's that building from each other's experiences. There's so many important people that walk through our doors. We can choose to either have a conversation with them or let them slide. And so you never know. Sometimes I might never get an opportunity to meet Siya Kolisi in a boardroom setting. But when he pops in to have coffee, I could find out what he's doing. And that's the beauty of hospitality, that you don't know who you're serving and you don't know who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
I mean, I wait for the day that you're on stage receiving your Emmy Daytime Award, and I'll be like, oh, yo, she interviewed me once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kuda, thank you so much for taking this time to sit with me and disseminating all this profound wisdom that you have. And I wish you all the best for Margaret Mornings. Hopefully we can do this again soon with
Yolanda, more
prosperous ventures.
Of course, most definitely. I do thank you for having me on the show. I think thank you for having the show in the first place. Like I said, that it's a platform for young budding entrepreneurs to get some wisdom, get some insight, get some direction, and yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
As Kuda would say, analysis paralysis is the reason why most business ideas don't even see the light of day. So the important thing to do at the end of the day is to just start. Otherwise, if you know of any other entrepreneurs, you can let me know down below, or you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook, because I am there as well as Yolanda Mabanga. Otherwise, from me, until we do this again, it is goodbye.